So there's a giant asteroid headed towards Earth, and the percentage chance of it hitting us seems to be going higher and higher. Is it going to hit us? We don't really know. The trajectory of it is currently heading out of our orbit, and it is only going to be coming back in about 2028 when we can see it and then start making accurate decisions as to what to do. So this guy talks a bit about it. Let's have a quick look.
That's probably going to pass super near Earth in the year 2032. And when I say probably going to pass near Earth, the other option isn't that it passes far away from Earth, it's that it hits Earth. And 2032 is not that far from now, and the object is big enough that people are concerned about this. But there's a bunch of context, if you have heard about this, that you probably do not have, that I would like to give you. And the first is the most relaxing piece of information, which is that this object is not in any way big enough to alter the course of life on Earth. One of the stats I keep hearing is this would be like 1,000 times more powerful than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And that is true, but it lacks context. The first piece of context is that we have built bombs this big. We have in our current nuclear arsenal bombs that are big.
Okay, so yes, the context here is also that I don't think he mentions is that the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, all the Younger Dryas impact and all of that stuff, that asteroid was the size of Mount Everest. Okay, we're talking about a couple kilometers in width and mass. It was massive. The asteroid that is coming towards us now is 100 meters wide, which is big. It is still very big for it to be coming towards Earth. Yes.
Big enough to do this. We have exploded bombs that big on Earth before. We've done them in the ocean, we've done them on the land, we've done them in the air. So the big difference is that the bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we've dropped in the middle of cities, which is something that really happened. And we're still here on Earth, living together. Oh my God. So the current NASA projection is that there is a slightly more than 2% chance that this object will hit Earth. An important additional piece of context, because we don't really feel this way, because we live our lives where we live them. Most of the Earth is empty. So about 3% of the Earth is cities, and a lot of the Earth is the ocean. Now, we actually know where this object, if it were to land on Earth, we have like an idea of where it would hit. It would hit around the equator, and it would hit in an area that stretches from South America all the way to India. It wouldn't hit in all of those places. It would hit in one of those places, and we don't know which one it would be. Another piece of context that it's valuable to know, if this happened 50 years ago, we would have no idea. Not only would we have nothing we could do about it, we would not know that it was happening. Over the last 50 years, we have built up an asteroid monitoring system, or like.
So the trajectory of the asteroid is, as I say, it is heading out of Earth and it is coming towards us. So it's going, if this is planet Earth, it's going away from us, and then as Earth comes around the orbit, it is coming back down towards us. And the trajectory that is currently being plotted for where it could potentially hit is round about here. So that is the belt as to where roughly it might hit in this red line. So it's interesting because 50% of the planet is water, so I don't see why it wouldn't strike somewhere in the Pacific. But yeah, I mean, if it hits Northern Africa, that's pretty bad. Lots of animals. If it hits here, the coastlines here are probably going to be screwed. India, if it hits somewhere there, that's pretty bad. But yeah, again, the percentage is 2.3%, and the trajectory is still undetermined.
Like an object monitoring system that figures out where stuff is and where it's headed, so that we can
never miss a stream. Love you, bro. Love you.
Know when stuff like this is happening. So the reason we're like, if you're stressed out at all by this, the reason you're stressed out is because you know something might happen when 50 years ago, this probably all would happen and we would have no idea that it passed by Earth. No one would ever know anything happened. Or we would find out later, and by the time later happened, we'd have, it would be so close that it would be easier to get data on it, and we would know that it wasn't going to hit Earth. So this is part of what's stressful about modern life, is having too much information. So
preach. Too much information all the time. I agree.
So this is information that if I could control your mind, I would make you not know about it because it is not at a point now where it matters. Third piece of useful context is that just because it can't destroy the Earth doesn't mean that it can't kill a lot of people. So if people are saying like, oh, finally, this is going to put us out of our misery, that's kind of like wrong in two different ways. First, because it's not going to end life or suffering on Earth. Second, because it will just increase suffering on Earth. All the people who are injured, all the people who die, all the people who love the people who are injured and died, that's all suffering that we don't need and that we don't want. Broader thoughts on the please put us out of our misery narrative that is especially, I will say, prominent on the left and I think kind of cringe and maybe shitty, but that's for another video. This one's not about that. But important context is one, we like any other time in human history, we wouldn't know about this. And it's good that we know about it, but it's also stressful that we know about it. Two, also any other time in human history, and I mean like not even very far back, we would not know what to do about this, but we live in a moment where we have very powerful rockets that could potentially launch a mission to stop this, and we also have done a first test, it was called the DART mission, that actually altered the path, the orbit of an object in space. We've done it before. It's like we have data on whether it's possible, and in fact, we have found that it is possible. And I will just say, like, there's a thing that bugs me about this, which is that when there's a 2% chance of it hitting Earth, then people will say, and then if an object this size hit smack in the middle of the largest population center on Earth, X number of people would die. But you've taken a probability of 2% and then multiplied that by a probability of like 0.01% that it will hit that specific city, or by like 3% that it will hit a city at all. And that's a much smaller probability that you definitely shouldn't worry about. If this was a big enough object that like if it hit the middle of the ocean, it would create a tsunami that would be a huge problem, then that would be a thing to worry about. But it's not that big. It's like if it hit in the middle of the ocean, like the only people who would die would be like suicide cult members who went out there to be in a boat and get obliterated by an asteroid because that's how you meet your alien overlords or something.
Meet your alien overlords, yes. Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe this will put things in perspective in a couple years' time where people will realize, not that this will probably happen, but it would be a nice way for, I'm not saying nice, but it would be an interesting way for people to realize that all of the shit that we argue about on this planet and all of the shit that we put each other through means absolutely nothing in the greater cosmic scale of things, especially when there's a giant asteroid headed towards us. Yeah. That was the information on is this thing going to hit us or not. A 2% chance is a very small percent, okay? But it's a percent nonetheless, and people are worried about it. But you don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. There's nothing we can do about it. Don't stress about it. Just take in the information as it goes. It is not going to end Earth. It may hit us, and it may cause some problems, but this is all you need to know. Okay, about the asteroid that might potentially hit Earth. Okay. We're back. All right, we're going to be talking about what the F is happening to Democrats. I saw this the other day.